This is the story of a girl who slept in the boys' quarters, ate leftovers, was told university was not for people like her. Over 4 episodes, you watched her find her father, win a court case, survive a con man, and forgive a dying woman who never truly deserved it but needed it anyway. Now, in this final episode, we find out what Amara actually did with everything she gained. And I promise you, it is not what most people would have done. 2 years after that black SUV first rolled into the compound, Amara Okonkwo-Bell sat in a boardroom she once would have only ever clinged. She had grown into the business, really grown into it, not just wearing the title, understanding it. She asked questions in meetings that made seasoned executives sit up a little straighter. Her father, watching from across the table one afternoon, felt something he had not let himself feel in years. Certainty that the empire he had built would be in good hands. That his daughter had turned 13 years of being underestimated into the sharpest instinct in the room. The ability to spot exactly who was genuine and who was performing. But business was not where Amara chose to leave her mark. She had been thinking about something for a year. Something specific, something personal, something that had nothing to do with shipping routes and everything to do with a compound at dawn, and a girl who had been sweeping alone before anyone else woke up. Something happens to people who have known real hunger, real invisibility, real powerlessness, and then suddenly find themselves with the resources to change things. Some people forget where they came from entirely. Others cannot stop looking back. Amara did neither. She looked back on purpose, and then she built something with what she saw. She called it the Ijoma Fund, after her mother. Its purpose was simple and deeply personal: scholarships and housing support for children being raised by extended family after losing a parent. The exact situation Amara had lived through herself, without anyone checking whether she was safe, fed properly, or given a fair chance at an education. Within the first year, the Ijoma Fund had placed over 300 children with verified, monitored guardians and paid for their schooling through university. Amara insisted on one condition for every case the foundation supported: regular, unannounced welfare visits. No child under the foundation's care would ever again be quietly erased the way she almost was. She gave the first scholarship personally to a 16-year-old girl in Enugu, being raised by an aunt who had already made her drop out of school to help around the house. Amara recognized herself instantly in that girl's downcast eyes. At the launch, the girl stood at the microphone. She was not a comfortable public speaker, but she was an honest one. She said, "They told me university was not for people like me. I believed them for 2 years. I do not believe them anymore." Amara, in the front row, heard those words land. She did not cry. She just held very still, the way you hold still when something completes. Barrister Adeyemi found her at the edge of the room. He looked at the banner, at the children, at everything in that room that had come from a single Tuesday morning, and an envelope with a name on it. He said, "I found an envelope for a girl once. I never imagined it would become this." Amara looked at him. "You did not just find an envelope," she said. "You found me." He nodded once. That was all. Some things do not need more than that. Chidinma showed up uninvited, standing quietly at the back of the room in a dress far simpler than anything she used to wear. After her mother passed, the house had been sold to cover debts. Nobody knew Aunt Ngozi had been hiding. Chidinma found herself for the first time in her life without a safety net. Amara saw her from across the room, and instead of turning away, she walked straight toward her. "I wasn't sure I should come," Chidinma admitted. "I told you the door would be open," Amara said. "I meant it." She did not hand Chidinma money. She offered her a job at the foundation. Entry level, real work, the same chance to build something honest that nobody had ever offered Amara herself. Chidinma took it. And slowly, over the following months, something neither of them expected began to grow. Not the fake closeness Chidinma had tried to manufacture. The week the story went public, something real, built the slow way, through actual time spent, actual trust, rebuilt one small moment at a time. They would never be what they could have been if 13 years had gone differently. But what they were building was theirs, honestly theirs. And that was enough. Every year, on the anniversary of that Tuesday, Amara visits her mother's grave, not with sadness anymore, with gratitude for a woman who protected her at an unbearable cost and never once got to see how it all turned out. She always says the same thing. Standing there, I found out who I really was, and then I decided who I was going to become. Those turned out to be two very different things, and I am grateful for both. If you ask Amara today what the inheritance actually gave her, she will not lead with the mansion, or the board seat, or the $400 million that started this whole story. She will tell you it gave her the chance to stop being defined by the people who once decided she was not worth much. She will tell you that revenge, the kind people fantasize about, is loud and satisfying for about a day, but it fades. What lasts is what you build afterward, and who you become while you are building it. Real glow-ups are not just about what you gain for yourself. They are about what you refuse to let happen to someone else once you finally have the power to stop it. Amara Okonkwo Bell was 6 years old when her mother died. She was 19 when the truth arrived in an envelope. She was 21 when she walked through a gate and found a girl sweeping a compound alone. Before anyone else was awake, she did not see a stranger. She saw herself and she smiled because this time someone was coming. That is the story of the Lost Heiress, a girl who was thrown away, who found her way back to herself and then spent everything she gained, making sure fewer children ever have to feel invisible in their own home again. If this series meant something to you, comment full circle below and tell me which episode hit you hardest. If you are new here, go back and watch the whole series from episode 1, because this is exactly the kind of story we tell on this channel. Real talk, real love, real healing. Comment full circle and tell me which episode hit you hardest. Share this with someone who needs to hear this story today. Subscribe to Moonlight Tales by Joy. New series every Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays and Sunday. Please like the video and share it with someone. Drop in the comments what you felt about our story so far. I read every single one of it. Thank you.